it the other way around. You can have a change in use where you go from a rental property back to your principal residence. When that happens, um, capital gains would be applied from the time that it was a rental property to the point that it became your principal residence again. So here's the part where you might be thinking, how can they do this? And the reason is that there's a clause in the Income Tax Act called deemed disposition or acquisition, which basically says that whenever there's a change in use, even if you actually did not get rid of the property, the CRA will consider you. So, in the example of going from a principal residence to rental, the CRA will consider that you've actually sold that property at fair market value at that date and bought it back at fair market value. So that's why they call it deemed disposition, because even if you didn't sell your property, the CRA will still hold you liable for that change in use. And the CRA will assess capital gains from that point based on the fair market value accordingly. So this is one area that some people don't realize the implications for it. And when you do have the capital gains, especially when you go from a rental property back to your principal residence, there is capital gains implications at that point. So even though you didn't sell the property, you owe tax to the government, they will ask you to pay the capital gains for that at that point in time. And it's also important to note that when they say fair market value, it's not based on like a real estate agent assessment. It's based on an appraiser. They want to, like, that's an appraiser report is what they accept. So now that we talked about change in use, there's some good news. There are elections available to protect that change in use and the tax implications that come with it. The more popular one is the top one, which is going from a principal residence to rental property. We had a lot of these over the past couple of years because of the rise in interest rates, where people moved out of their house, rented it somewhere smaller, and rented their current house to make up the payments. So, with a change in principal residence to rental property, you can make an election to the government where you can still keep it as your principal residence for up to 4 years from that point in time that you made your change in use. So, for example, if you were in your home and you decide to rent it out in the year 2023, if you make the election until the year of 2027, it still considers your principal residence.